What's up, everyone? Sorry I have been away for so long. I was out in Japan on a trip, part business, part pleasure. The business was Evo Japan, and actually the pleasure too was a bit to be at Evo Japan. But we also got a few days out in Tokyo to eat some good food, see some sights, do some shopping. And this video is going to be all about the food we ate. In particular, there was 3 places that really stood out. Maybe if you're out in Tokyo sometime, you can drop by these places. They're all pretty affordable. One was a little pricey, but nothing absurd considering what was eaten. Anyway, here's the trip, here's the food. Hope you enjoy the video. So I just want to mention for each video, I put a direct link to the directions with Google Maps into the description. So you just click on that. It'll open the app on your phone, in your browser, wherever, so you know exactly where to go. So the first place that I want to highlight is a ramen place, and I've eaten a lot of ramen living in Asia for the last 5 years, both in Japan, in Hong Kong, in the Philippines, in Singapore, all over. So this place, Kikambo, was basically touted to me by a lot of FGC members as the best ramen they've ever had. So I was a little skeptical because I was like, everyone's first ramen when they go to Japan is the best ramen they ever had. But they were saying like, no, we had a lot of ramen. You gotta go to this ramen. So we went to the branch in Ikebukuro. Sorry if I butchered that name. There's also another branch in Kanda. And there was a bit of a line outside. The wait was, I would say, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. But the part that kind of made it a bit brutal is that it was snowing a lot outside. And we were prepared for the snow, but still living in the Philippines, you get a little used to the tropical weather and you're really not used to cold, and it was our second day there. But we braved it, we survived it. We got inside, I got the big pork ramen, which basically had like a pork shoulder in it. And Ira got the standard ramen. It cost about 1,200 yen, which is about, I don't know, I would say give or take $9–10 US. And it's a huge bowl. Like, I didn't even get to finish it. I still had a bit of sauce left, and Ira had like tons of noodles left. But it's definitely gonna be super filling, and I think waiting in line for it in the cold made you want it that much more, like that hot soup. And I will say that broth was amazing. So apparently they put like Szechuan spices and pepper. So when you get in and everyone gets their first slurp, they start coughing because there's so much pepper in it, or sneezing. So it kind of hits you really hard, and apparently you can take even higher and higher spice levels that get to the absurd. And you can put as much pork in it. Now, the pork was, to me, the highlight. Like, the noodles were really good. They were thick, so they soaked up a lot of the sauce, and it was good to slurp. But the pork, it kind of just dissolves when you eat it in your mouth. It's like butter or something. It just melts in there. So, definitely worth it. Probably maybe the best or second best. And I know this is gonna sound crazy, but there's some ramen here in the Philippines that's like crazy good. So, I'll have to eat both more often to pick a true winner, but definitely worth visiting it. It's definitely super affordable, and it's pretty easy to get to. It's maybe 5 minutes from the train station that we went to. So Kikambo, big thumbs up there, and on to the next location. So the next place we went to was made famous by the show Ugly Delicious on Netflix. It was one of the highlighted pizza places in Japan. It was called Savoy. Now the funny thing is that the pizza place that I really wanted to go to was the one that had like mayo and salmon on it, but I think I got the addresses mixed up. So we went to this other place called Savoy, which basically specializes in Neapolitan style pizza with really fresh ingredients. Basically they're trying to imitate the fresh ingredients from Italy, or maybe they even import it, I'm not sure. But it's a really small place. It's just like this counter around the actual oven that they cook the pizzas in, and then like one table behind. So luckily we got there a little bit after lunch rush, and there was only about a couple people ahead of us. So we got in maybe after 15-20 minutes, and you sit down. There's only 2 pizzas available. There's a variety of sides. So we actually had some mushrooms, I think in olive oil, and then a salad with prosciutto on top. And those were okay. But basically, it's just one chef making each of these pizzas by hand as you order them. And they actually kind of space it out pretty wisely, I would say. So our first pizza was a margarita pizza. So the margarita pizza had some really fresh mozzarella on top, and I think basil, or what was it? Anyway, the margarita pizza had mozzarella and basil and some olive oil, and it was good. Like, it was really fresh, really tasty. Ira loved it, and I mean, like, it was good pizza, you know, but it wasn't like my mind was blown. So the second pizza we ordered was
such high standards.
Yeah, such high standards. The second pizza we ordered was a marinara pizza, and this one was actually kind of surprising because it was just the tomato sauce, and then they chopped some garlic, and they put, I don't know, oregano or some kind of seasoning on top, and then they put a lot of olive oil on top. And they brought it out, and I swear that's, if not one of the best pizzas, like one of the best things I've ever eaten. Just like every single little ingredient stood out. Like, you did the first bite, you tasted the garlic, then further on you tasted all the seasonings. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm no food critic, but I was definitely like head exploding, you know, gif. And it was super good. It actually was, you know, fairly cheap. We had the appetizers, a Coke, 2 pizzas. Came out to about like 45, 50 bucks or so for the 2 of us. Pretty short wait. I guess later on in the night they have a more expanded menu, and I know there was like a 3rd secret pizza because we saw it get made. It was like a white Bianca pizza that came out. Anyway, Savoy, super good and totally worth it. It's not too far from Roppongi Hills, just a short walk from the train station, and it's actually kind of nice because you go into this nice little, I don't want to say downtown, but like street that's a little bit more quiet than all the craziness of Roppongi. But yeah, Savoy, definitely worth it if you have a chance to get out there, especially if you're like, man, I've heard pizza in Japan is terrible. Well, this definitely disproves that. So this last place was not part of our original itinerary. We basically were told about it as a dinner by the Tenno production team, which was going to be producing the English Evo Japan broadcast, and they had reserved this place called Ginza Steak, and it was out in Shinbashi, I believe. And it was, they told us that it was like an all-you-can-eat Kobe A5 steak place, and you know, Kobe beef is like one of the most expensive beefs you can have. So we met up at this place. It was basically like these huge 2 big round tables that had like teppan grills in the middle, and it was kind of like an FGC Illuminati type meetup. If you don't know, Kenny Omega was there. I don't have footage of him because I don't want to be that weirdo like shoving a camera in his face when he's trying to eat dinner with friends. But ton of the Tenno crew, some of the Evo Japan organizers were there, and basically what it was a 6-course meal. So the first course was a roast beef, I guess not quite raw, maybe just like slightly grilled and then, you know, seasoned. Really good, really light, really fresh. The next was kind of like a potato soup, right? That was okay, you know. The third one was they basically like steamed some beef. Not kind of sure what beef it was, but it came with like on top of some vegetables. It was really tasty. And then after that, they basically came into the all-you-can-eat Kobe beef round. So basically they cook these really nice slices of Kobe beef and you eat them. And I believe you can go up to 5 refills of it, or maybe as many as you want. So I think me and Ira kind of tapped out after 3, but I don't know if it was just like, maybe they saved the better cuts for last, but it felt like each time you got a refill, the beef tasted better and you really wanted to eat it right away, because the colder it got, the like less tastier it was. Like when you first ate it, it was juicy and just kind of like splashed that beef flavor to be, I guess, the umami into your mouth. And super good, super tender, but kind of all that meat at once, you get a little bit sick of it. So as a nice kind of palate cleanser, they give you like this garlic rice dish with the soup in it. And at the end, you get some ice cream. It was a really good dinner, really filling, even though I got really hungry for some reason later on and had McDonald's like a chump. But it was more of a dinner that was fun to meet up with friends and talk and stuff. And a lot of good discussions with the Tenno crew. Pretty good meal, probably the fanciest steak I'll ever eat. It wasn't cheap. It was about, I would say, $90 to $100 per head, especially if you got drinks and stuff like that. But the location was pretty easy to find. Honestly, you're getting that much Kobe beef is probably the cheapest you can ever get it for that amount that we received. So yeah, Ginza steak, apparently they have like 3 locations plus another style around. And yeah, we went to the one in Shimbashi. So if you gotta get your beef on, definitely go for that. So that about wraps up all the stuff that we ate in Tokyo. Hope you enjoyed the video. As I said before, if you need to know where any of these places are, links to Google Maps is in the description. Coming up next, we'll have a video about either Fukuoka food, which is, we didn't get to explore as much, but it should be good. And also we have the actual Evo Japan recap and what went on during the tournament and stuff. I was actually out there producing the stream. I actually did this really cool segment where I showed you behind the scenes of the stream setup that we were working on and how that all worked. So if you kind of miss tech stuff and behind the scenes streaming stuff, and you know, if you're just curious how a big event like Evo Japan gets streamed, definitely stay tuned for that video. I think that'll actually be the one that comes out next. But thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions about the food in this video, leave them in the comments. If you enjoyed it, watching me gorge myself, leave a like. And for more travels, more tech tips, more Streamland stuff, and more randomness for me, make sure to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.